Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Ben Lüning, I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and this here is Patrick from Kirsch Import. I'm not going to pronounce your second name again because it's really hard.
Don't bother. It's an Indian name. It's so cultural, you know.
Can you say it again?
Yes, Ahluwalia.
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 It's actually not that difficult, but I just can't remember it. It just doesn't look like the spelling.
Yeah, there's, so many consonants in there, so it's very confusing for a German tongue.
Yeah, but maybe you've already seen him here on the channel, or was that just a German one?
No, it was just a German one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We already had him here on the German, so we actually do know him. He's a whiskey specialist from Kirsch Import, and so you are pretty much for all of the whiskies. But today we are looking at the Nikka.
Yes, Nikka,
Yeah.
Nikka whiskey brand,
Yeah.
and two of their single malt expressions here, Miyagikyo and Yoichi.
Yoichi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're working on the pronunciation here.
We just learned about the pronunciation. The Nikka is the long K. Nikka. What was it? Miyagikyo is yo. And Yoichi is also yo.
Yeah.
I think they like the yos.
Yeah.
The Japanese people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about, what are we having today? Today is a bit different. Usually I talk to you about Japanese whiskey is always blended.
Yes.
And today we have the short live tasting with only two. And we have two single malts.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not very often.
Yeah.
It's very
And
common.
if you go to Whisky.com and you come from the Netherlands or Belgium, you can actually buy them as the live tasting set. And also a small live tasting set where you just buy 2 miniatures, so you can have them while you do the live tasting, or you can have them when you see the YouTube video at a later point. And yeah, I actually set them the other way around.
Yes.
Because I actually came from the history, I wanted to tell the story, but you actually switched them.
Yeah. I came from the taste side because Miyagikyo doesn't have that much smoke, and Yoichi is, more the peated single malt in that case. So, but I actually totally get it. Yoichi is more like the historical entry point for the whole story here. But yeah, we're gonna switch it around a little bit. But I think it will work either way.
We now switch the story, so bear with me, because we are starting with the second distillery of Nikka. And this all starts with Masataka Taketsuru. He is the guy who went to Scotland and came back to Japan and brought whiskey to Japan, but more of that later. In his later years, he founded the Miyagikyo distillery with his sons and
Yes,
I think
niece and
niece or nephew?
nephews. I'm sorry. Yes. No,
Yeah.
Nephews.
And this was then later, and this is actually a bit of a bigger production. It has 3 million production capacity, 3 million liters of alcohol per year, and is a bit more of a workhorse. It can produce grain whiskey and gin also. And yeah, it is also, later, as I said, it was founded in 1969. And it's, more of a lowland style whiskey. No, it is Japanese, so it is a bit different. You said you can't compare it to an Ochentoshen.
Yeah, it's it's very hard to compare it to a certain Scottish region. It has its own character, but it's more on the lighter side, I would say. Yeah.
If you look at the region, it would totally be like, this is hills, hills, hills. But yes, Japan is only mountains and hills.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a flatter region for Japan. So lowlands. Bit more fruity, bit more easier to drink. As I said, it's the second one. We'll come to the first one, the canonical, a bit later. As it is a younger distillery, 1969 is a bit younger, we do have a bit more modern equipment. I'm not quite sure if it maybe has been modernized as well, but also you cannot approach the mash tun. This is behind a window. This was 2016, I think. You guys.
It's still the same nowadays. So you cannot reach over. It is behind bars.
And so big stainless steel mash tun, and also stainless steel fermenters, the wash bags. It has 22 of them, but yeah, they're also pretty big. But still, remember, you have also a column stills.
Yes.
And column stills are huge in production,
Yeah.
so you don't want to have them standing still all the time. So you have to have big fermentation.
Yeah.
3 million liters. It's not the biggest of them all, but it is quite massive.
It's quite massive, yeah.
Yeah.
But they do in vodka as well.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess 3 millions will then without the vodka.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But not all of them is column still. So these are the 8-pot stills. And as you can see, you have these Shinto magical ribbons at the top. I think that's a ceremony to bless the stills of the Washo Stillo and Spirito Stillo or Spirit Stillo. Yeah, these are the names. Japanese words do come from a lot of different languages, but they have to match their alphabet, so they kind of put an O in the end or something. Yeah. So it has very big stills, I think the biggest in Japan. And we had a little bit of discussion. I'm not quite sure if it is rising, but it might as well be.
Yeah, might be like a couple of degrees maybe, but it's actually not going down. So that's
not going down.
No.
So
we have a bit of a reflux here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it has a reflux bowl, it has a long line arm, tall stills. So it is pretty pure distillation. Will give you a bit of a milder whiskey.
Lighter style. Yeah.
And then I wasn't allowed to wash the coffee stills. This is a picture from you.
Yeah. We did have the chance to go a little bit behind the scenes and then take a couple of pictures of the coffee stills or the column stills here. And as you can see, that's the bigger one, the round one, and the next picture is more the square one, which is an old style coffee still. Where is the coffee and the coffee grain and the coffee malt are made.
Very interesting. I haven't seen many of the square ones.
Yeah.
But nobody says you have to make a column still round.
No. It's
so
just different techniques. And this one, I think this one is from originally from Glasgow from the 19-somethings.
Okay. Yeah.
It might match like the 1960s or something like that. So yeah.
I can't tell you off the top of my head of a square column still. I do have seen one, but can't tell you where it was. So they are really pretty seldom.
Yeah.
But I think they are in other industries. They are more common.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
The round ones are more common, but you see square ones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned earlier, so they're all about blending, and they can produce a lot of steels and a lot of styles of different liquids there. So they can actually very, very much choose how to blend everything there together. Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, the master blender in Japan is higher than the master distiller. So the master distiller just produces the ingredients, and the true master, the master blender, then blends the perfect whiskey.
Yeah.
And yeah, so still you have to age it. And you do have dunnage warehouses. This is a bit higher than dunnage warehouses. I think they're not just 3 high, maybe they're a bit higher than that. But they are not storage 15 stories and stuff.
Yeah.
So not all of them are very full. So it is a very classical maturation. We had a little bit of a talk about what is the climate? How can you compare it? It is it's right next to the sea. It's it's near to Sendai. I think it is Fukushima prefecture. Still good amount of way from the former power plant, and so it has a sea breeze. It's not as, I would say, damp as Scotland. Like Scotland has only one temperature, which is rainy, but it's not as extreme as, let's say, Kentucky. Kentucky has I don't know, a meter or 3 foot of snow every year, and in summer it's just boiling hot. I don't know, 40 degrees. It's, I don't know, 120 or 125 Fahrenheit, or I don't know, not that good of Fahrenheit, but above 100. And so they're not as hard. They are in between Scotland and Kentucky, I would say.
Yeah.
So, bit more hefty than Scotland.
Yeah.
And what is now strange is there is a cooperage. There is a bit of a... This is the tourist center where you can see how this all have been done in the past and all that kind of stuff. And then they actually do have a real cooperage there where they rejuvenate casks and toast and char casks like you see here. I have actually taken this video, but I really can't remember where that was. I mean, you can't see much on that picture except for the at the very end, you can see the surrounding. Yeah, maybe I need to watch the raw version to remember where that was. But yeah, they do have their cooperage on site. And yeah, they do have a good amount of cask variation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We talk about cherry casks and fresh bourbon oaks and fresh virgin oaks as well. So and then apple brandy casks as well. So Yoichi and Miyagikyo, they both there are two expressions with a apple brandy cask finish, which is the story. We'll comment to the story. Comment to the story, which is very very interesting to have. Casts like that.
Here we have Tom, greetings, Grüßen aus die Niederlande, and Stefan, greetings from Belgium. Yeah, so maybe hopefully you too have these bottles on site, because it's always nicer to actually taste with some friends on the other side of the screen.
Yeah, and greetings from Spain as well. So hola.
Unfortunately, we don't sell to Spain yet, but maybe at some point of time.
The next plans.
So you want to pour some?
Yes. Let's pour the Miyagikyo.
The Miyagikyo is 45%.
Yes.
And it is a sherry cask maturation.
Yes, it is. You can definitely smell the sherry casks here. I think for me, it's a little bit more traditional, older style of sherry cask maturation, because it's more on the, you have more like wooden oak and something very, aromatic there. It is not so sweet on the nose. So let's dive in.
Yeah, definitely fruity. You have a mixture of many fresh fruits, I would say.
Yeah.
Then you have a little bit of a few red berries, red fruits, a little bit of dried fruits, and floral notes. So it's a nice, warm, welcoming, fruity sherry whiskey. But strangely enough, a little bit of an aromatic note.
Yes.
Not quite sure if I have been influenced, because I have actually read the tasting notes and it says a light smoke. But if I would rate the smokiness, I would say 2.
2 ppm or 3 ppm maybe. Yeah.
So compared to a smoky Scotch, it's almost nothing.
Yeah, there's something in there. It's something very herbal. It is it is a little bit of like a walk in the autumn day. It is earthy, something like that. It is not quite you cannot pin it down right away. And I think the fruits you have a little bit of a zesty side as well. So you have like the rind of an orange or something like that. So it's a little bit oily on the nose as well. So I really like the nose. It is definitely a style that is comparable to Scotland, and I would place it in between lowlands, but going to the highlands maybe.
Maybe in old lowland. No lowlands were the first ones without the smokiness, right?
Yeah, maybe like a Blatnoch or
something
like that. But it's a very beautiful nose, 45% ABV, so it's a little bit higher in strength.
Oh, I like it.
Kanpai. Oh, again, I love the arrival of the whiskey. It touches your tongue with sweet and sourness, and then it definitely just shows all the flavor that you had on the nose. A little of an orange zest and floral notes, and the earthiness is coming through, and you have a very nice, light, complex whiskey. With a lot of aroma on the palate. 45% is like a perfect sweet spot for me.
It's very, very drinkable. It's very enjoyable, light, fruity, but still a bit of, as you said, earthy, spicy, malty, oaky notes. And we have Miro. Has a long tasting note for the Miyagikyo.
Nice.
The scent of a strong floral note and tropical fruits. Probably because they're fermenting, probably pretty good in tropical notes. The taste is bitter and malty with dark chocolate, licorice, ginger, and a long grapefruit nuance in the aftertaste. For me, it wasn't that hefty, harsh bitterness and grapefruit. But I do know in the German take, when you take more sips, it becomes heftier.
Yeah.
So maybe you have already taken a few sips of that?
Yeah.
Was that the first sip or the second?
Yeah. So it develops definitely in the glass. It is easy to drink. It's easy approachable, but it's not boring. You know, it has complex character. So you can definitely drink it as a nice companion whiskey. But it's interesting enough to spend time with it, if you know what I mean. You know.
Yeah. And for me, it's nice to see. Yeah, Japanese people can do single malt. Can do single malt, but they don't want to.
Yeah.
This is the few single malts that are out there.
Oh, love it.
You can still keep going on with the whiskey, but I will start at the beginning with the Yoichi.
Yeah.
Yoichi is the distillery in the far north on the island of Hokkaido. And it starts with Masitake Takesuru, and he was the Japanese person who brought whiskey to Japan. And he went to Japan to Scotland in the 1920s?
Yes.
And you actually do know the distilleries where he went to?
Yes, he went to Longbourn and then to Hazelburn in the
Campbelltown.
In the Campbelltown, the Campbelltown region, and there he learned the distilling and everything. Yeah.
So he actually bought himself a European dress and a top hat, and then went to a lot of distilleries, and they were like, "Go fuck off, you bugger." And Longbourn and Hazelburn let him in, and then he learned the trade of making whiskey and came back to Japan. And I think he was sent by a different company.
Yes.
But then he got involved with the company before Suntory, and he built the Yamasaki distillery.
Yes.
But he wasn't quite satisfied with the style they made.
Yeah.
So he was like Highland whiskey, smoky, Campbelltown. So he went actually to Hokkaido, which was actually a good move because Hokkaido, it's just farmland. It's still pretty much farmland. So it was probably pretty cheap to go there.
Yeah. And it resembles the climate of Scotland quite good.
Yeah. But he didn't have that much money, so he had to make money, cash flow quick. So actually, he made, what was it?
Apple brandy.
Brandy.
He made apple brandy.
And you can buy apple brandy at, I know Miyagikyo and I think Yoichi as well. So they are still doing apple brandy as well. Don't know how much they do it. But yes, so that is Yoichi. So it's near Sapporo. People might know it who are a bit older. In, I think, 1976. I wasn't alive there. That was the Olympic Games in Sapporo, the Winter Games. And so very mountainous region. You can see ski jumps there. It's a ski region. We have Herbie on wheels. Is it live? Yes, it's live. I think he knows that it is live, but he just wants to be named there. Yeah. So I have actually a picture of Masitake Takesuru there.
There he is.
And that's him in his younger years. And he founded the distillery in 1934. And it's, from my point of view, the nicest looking distillery in the world.
Yeah.
So said that, nicest looking distillery, and it's the very end of the world. If you're not from Japan, if you're from Belgium, Netherlands, or Spain, or Germany, then this is like the farthest away, except for Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Islands. So yeah, but if you are ever in the region of Sapporo or Hokkaido, just go to Yoichi. It's really worth a visit. It's very, very nice distillery. Although it has been, it's just a nice campus, very old buildings, historical buildings, nice playground, restaurant. But it has been renovated, so they do have a modern mash tun of stainless steel and water from the Yoichi River. And the mash tun is 50,000 liters big, so that it's easily big enough to supply the whole distillery with mash. And yeah, the fermenters are quite huge. They don't have any column stills there, and they don't have that many big stills. Why do they have so big fermenters? That has a reason, because he wanted to ferment quite long. So his fermentation duration is 5 days. Just to compare it, because all the others do it in hours, that is 120 hours. So very, very long. And they don't use the strongest yeast they can find, because they come out with 7 to 8. There are tons of yeasts out there who can do more alcohol, so they do actually use the yeast that gives the best flavors. And now we come to the really fun part, because the distilling.
Yes.
Smaller stills. Line is quite small and falling.
Yes.
And now comes the best one. It's directly fired.
But directly fired with coal. Not with gas.
So there is a Japanese worker, as you can see here, directly behind the red tape where all the tourists stand. So this is him, his workplace. On the other side are 100 people with cameras.
Watching him shoving coal in,
Yeah, they're not 100. There were not that many people there. That's also the beauty about Yoichi. It's so far away that not that many people are visiting there. And every 20 minutes or half an hour, then there's a little truck coming and filling his little storage unit with more coal. So, but all the others actually have, I think, an escalator to supply it with coal all the time. So only the first one is shoveled.
Just maybe a bit of show, but
It is a showmanship. But strangely enough, if you have... what do you call it? If you have direct firing, that is also affecting the flavor quite a lot.
It's a faster distillation for sure. So it is very hot. It's a very hot distillation. So, and I think you have to be very careful if you don't overdo it. You can produce a very hot flame. And
it's a bit. I would say the quality assurance will also be a bit difficult. Because what do you call it? The quality assurance, because you can't keep the temperature just as stable as with steam. Steam has just that temperature with the sensor, and that's it. With the coal, it's just how much do you shovel. Probably the first one is fluctuating in taste a lot. And so we do have a very, very fruity, tropical fruity wash. And then we have a very harsh distillation where you have all the oily parts and all the hefty parts coming through. So a very unique combination. I don't know any distillery that does that.
Well, actually, I don't know either. So I think this is very unique.
You could compare it a little bit to Glenfarclas, but direct firing and fruity, but it's very far away. Very, very far away.
It's a hard stretch, but this is something where I think Yoichi
very unique.
Is unique in character, and I think we will smell and taste the uniqueness of the character.
Last thing is these are the warehouses. Actually, not my pictures. Because I don't know why we didn't get into one. I think it was raining that day and we couldn't they didn't want to, or we didn't want to go back there. But so this is the warehouses. We've seen a lot of warehouses there, and they are quite low and more of a dunnage style. It's not typical dunnage style, but in the spirit of dunnage style warehouses, I would say. And it is said to have a very cool and rainy climate, so it is very, very Highland style.
Yeah.
That is what Masatake Takesuru wanted to do.
Yeah.
He wanted to do Highland style.
Yeah, Scottish style whiskey.
I would really like to know if the huge emphasis on blending with the Japanese comes from also in the 1920s. All of the Scotch industry was pretty much blend.
Yes.
So maybe that's why they do have so emphasis on blending, because they are stuck in that time period.
That's probably one thing, and then you have the whole Shoshu distillery thing going on there, which is a very light style of alcohol, you know. So yeah, I think this is an influence of both worlds, you know. On the one side you have the Japanese Shoshu style, and on the other side you have the blending culture which was going on back in the days, more like now. Yeah. Good. Okay, let's pour the next one.
And the next one, I actually don't remember that much, but I know that it was a really good one.
Yeah.
And we gave it a gold award in April 2023 because it was just such a good whiskey.
Yeah, totally understand that. But I have a soft spot for Yoichi in my heart.
Yeah.
It was always good quality.
Interesting. The first one we had was just sherry cask.
Yes.
Now this one has bourbon, sherry, and virgin oak cask.
Yes.
Virgin oak cask as a cask that has just been made from the tree and no other liquid has been in there inside.
Correct.
It is really strange, and I didn't think that it would happen, but the first nose that you have is pretty mild.
Yeah.
There's a bit of citrus. Yeah, you do see a bit of smokiness in there. A little bit of, but I would say lighter style. And then when you just give it a bit more time, more spices, more earth, more oak, more smoke. Hefty one.
Yeah. It takes, you need a little bit more time in the glass, but as you continue smelling, it is opening up, and it has so much aromas in there. I love the nose, but it's not a peaty, tangy nose that you normally have from an Islay whiskey. It is more like a bonfire, so it's more like a smokiness from wood, I would say. But it's a very beautiful round nose, and I must say, it is different from the palate because it's gonna be an explosion, I think.
Yeah, now that I just nose it again, and I have the remembrance of the German take, it's so different from what it tastes.
Yeah.
So if you have it in your glass, just be excited.
Yeah.
Come by.
Oh my god. And again here, it hits sweet and sour notes directly on your tongue. Then it explodes. Then you definitely can feel like this is a smoky whiskey. It's not overwhelming. It is very nice, interwoven into all the flavors that you have here. You have sweetness, you have coffee notes, you have nutty notes, you have like earthy notes as well. And then fruits, a lot of fruits, tropical fruits, a zestiness as well. So good. Pears, apples, you name it.
It's a very hefty combination. As you said, pears, apples, it's fruity. That very long fermentation just gives you a fruitiness beyond measure. And then you have that heftiness, that these spices where you realize you have the oily, spicy stuff that all has been distilled very quickly. Nothing's been filtered out. And the smokiness, which does not come from the coal, by the way. It comes from the peat smoke that the malt was roasted over. And yeah.
I think it's a very nice whiskey. It's comparable. It's a Scottish style whiskey, I would definitely say, but it has his own flavor and his own take on that whole whiskey theme.
And the hefty thing is, now I've had the second sip on that. A very strong.
Yes.
It becomes stronger with
Yes.
every sip you take.
Yeah.
So when you have the first one, it is stronger Highland style. I would say medium peated or something. When you then have the second sip, spicy. That feels like a warm tub, but a really tough warm tub with fast distillation warm tub, and then after the next one, this is Isla style, and so it really builds.
Yeah, and it's oily, it's clingy. It keeps, it stays on your tongue and your mouth. It is mouth-watering here, and you definitely have a nice aftertaste of coffee, or almost an espresso. It's more on the cappuccino style, but it's almost a very nice, very good espresso.
Miro says Yoichi has, in my opinion, a damp smokiness on the nose and in the taste, which I disliked. Oh, okay. Whiskey Lovers Society, lovely dram.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I do like it.
Me too. Now I have a vanilla here. It tastes a little. It takes a little bit more in the glass, but now I have a very nice smoky vanilla, which reminds me on a crème brûlée. Where the top is caramelized, with fire, something like that.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, then please feel free to ask us now, because it's just a short live tasting, and if you do have some questions over the next 5 minutes, then we would like to answer them. We did have a nice question in the German take, which was, is barley grown in Japan? And the answer is yes, but not that much. So it was something like, 20,000 hectares or something, or 50,000 hectares, and comparison, Germany has 1.5 million hectares of barley grown. And so where do they get it? The malt for the single malt and the other whiskies will not be comparable to all the malt that they need for their Asahi, which is now the mother company bought Nikka for their beer, and I think wasn't it also Suntory beer? And there are Asahi, Suntory, and Kiri.
Yeah,
that's the 3 beers in Japan. So a good amount of a good amount of malt must be in Japan, and they will get it from the international market.
Yeah, so I would say I would guess that the vast amount of malt that they're using are coming from the world market.
You can ship grain, malt, grain, not malt, grain. You can ship very easily, very cheap around the globe.
Yeah,
it's not fast. It's slow ships, but it is a lot. It's cheap enough to do that around the globe, and that is also why a lot of people had that fear. Miyagikyo is in Fukushima prefecture. What about the plant?
It's far away.
Yeah, they're not using any of that locally grown barley anyway, and there is no problem there. No. I've actually been to the plant.
Really?
Not inside. We unfortunately we didn't drove up to the guy, and he said, "Let's just go home." But we went on the other side, and we actually took a photo of the reactor that has been exploding, and then there was
But before the explosion or
after?
After. Wow.
After. And they do have the counters, and you shouldn't stay too long in that region, but it's safe to be there. It's not worse than an international flight.
Okay.
So
the Geiger counter,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what you really see there is what the tsunami does. The tsunami was the problem with that, and So you do see a lot of they're building there a lot of protection for more tsunamis, because the tsunami was really devastating.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So not a lot of people had the voting, so it's 50-50.
Two guys here, one like Yoichi, one like Miyagikyo. Perfect.
And so my favorite, I have to say, was Yoichi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can, I cannot So yeah, I cannot disagree with that. The Yoichi is because of the smoke, or the more smoke that you have here, is a little bit more of the complex side.
Probably the Miyagikyo would be the good choice if you just enjoy it on the side.
Yes.
And Yoichi is just when you have an evening like that, when you watch a video, a live stream with us, or you have friends on your side and you taste with them together, and you really focus on the whiskey. You have a proper tasting.
Yeah.
Then you have probably you're more with the Yoichi. Yeah. Some people do like the Miyagikyo. I don't want to. I think that's spoil these people.
That's a nice background whiskey if you play cards with your friends, and then have a nice, very nice. I think it's a very affordable Japanese whiskey, because sometimes you pay crazy amounts, and it's a genuine Japanese single malt. So this is quite seldom. So. You can buy it as a nice price, and then say like, oh, come on, let's have a nice Japanese whiskey now, and then have a nice, nice evening together. So it's a nice background whiskey. But I agree, the Yoichi is more for the whiskey nerd.
Yeah. So I do have a little bit of an advertisement for the next live tastings, also with Patrick, but this time Patrick James.
Yes.
So he's a colleague of you, right?
Yes, he is. He's our new brand ambassador for Gordon MacPhail and Ben Romach.
Okay.
And so he will be presenting the brand Ben Romach.
Yeah, Ben Romach live tasting in actually 2 weeks, on the 15th of November at, again, 8 p.m. Central European winter time. we one time we actually had 1 hour wrong because of winter and summertime. And yeah, so next will be Ben Romach. But if you go to Whisky.com/live, you will find all the dates there. And if you come from the Netherlands or Belgium, you can actually go into the shop and actually find live tasting sets in big bottles or in small bottles. This time it has been a bit of a short live tasting because I've been a bit short in time. And next time it will be 3 with Ben Romach, so kind of the standard. The 4 ones are the bigger ones. And if you want to see me a bit suffering, then tune in to, I think is it 27th or 28th of December. I will do a live tasting alone with 7 rums.
Wow!
I think it's your tasting box, isn't it? Also from Kirsch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will taste them all in
Why
1
not?
hour. No, I'm not quite sure if we do 1 hour or longer. Have a look. I'm not quite sure with that, but we will have a lot of live tastings over the next time. So if you want to have a look at the website. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for presenting with me.
Thank you for having me here.
And yeah, see you next time.